the new hunter. I don't actually know the dog hunter song.
I think it's just he's the bounty hunter.
He's the new products releaser.
All right, just a reminder, we have our new product newsletter. If you have an Adafruit account, sign up. You get a newsletter when we have new products. Lady Ada, this is a coming soon. Everybody asked for this, so we did it. You could just sign up for the coming soon page with our @Mel SamD51 series. We didn't want to have to keep saying it's not out yet, don't ask. So you can just sign up and.
It's not out yet. I don't even have an ETA about when. Okay, we can go back one.
What?
I don't even have an ETA about when we're going to have the Metro.
No.
M0.
No, just sign up.
Just sign up.
Yeah.
Look, ARM.
Okay. Anyways, what's going on here?
This product totally sucks.
No, it doesn't. It blows.
It blows, and it sucks. It's a little mini fan.
I'm your biggest fan. Yeah.
It's a little mini fan, and it's actually useful for a couple different things.
I get the drift.
One, it's useful for, like, as you can see, if you're soldering, you can power it from 9 volts or 12 volts, and it'll quickly get the fumes away and the smoke away from you. I mean, you want to use a carbon filter on the back, which you could just tape onto the back if you want. But it's nicely enclosed. There's an on-off switch. It's just kind of like a nice little desktop fan. I think it's very nice. It's got a little magnet on the bottom, too. So let's check this out on the overhead.
Want to do the overhead?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just a 12-volt, PC fan. Oh, I'll get all these demos out of the way. It's got, a DC plug. I just plug in 9 volts. You don't have to plug in 12. And it's got an on-off switch, and it just turns on. And what's nice about it that I like in comparison to a lot of the desktop fans that we use for like soldering filtering is it's very quiet because it's a PC fan. So it's, you can barely hear it. So it's not like, my desktop fan.
Can you put a carbon filter on front?
Yeah, you could totally. Yeah, it's totally strong enough. Just get it.
Oh, well, that's on. You can't even hear it.
You can't even hear it.
Hold it up to the microphone. You can't hear it.
It's barely, but it's quite strong. But yeah, there's you could put one in behind in here, or you could just tape it to the front. Either way, if you want to add a carbon filter, or just have it blow out towards an open window or something.
Okay. That's cool.
If you want to cool something off, also very handy. So you will get some carbon filters in the store too. This doesn't come with one because it's not kind of intended for soldering. It just happens to be very useful for that.
Handy. Okay.
And there's a magnet on the bottom. I especially like the on-off
switch. Yeah, switch.
Very nice.
Okay.
And it's a lot of people are doing DIY builds, and I was like, we should just have a small fan.
Yeah, 3D printed enclosure. Stand for it and stuff. Okay.
Totally.
We're just gonna sell wires from now on.
No.
So these are 3 wires.
No. Well, they're very nice colors.
Hand signed. No. What is this?
This is an Optomax liquid sensor.
Right.
So this is kind of nice because it's a, electronics and water don't mix. So it's kind of sometimes difficult to make a good liquid sensor because you don't want to oxidize or damage or flood your electronics. But this is a really nice solid state sensor, and it's completely enclosed in plastic. And it works very well. It's very simple. You just power it from 4.5 up to 15 volts. And then the output just is low or high. That's it. It's like super simple, not a lot going on. And it's fully enclosed, like I said. It comes with a gasket, and it's got an IR LED and a photo transistor inside. And then it's just tuned so that when it's in air or in dirt or whatever, the light doesn't reflect back, but in water, the light reflects right back into the sensor, and it detects that. So I have a little demo here I can show off in case you can get the video. So I got it connected up to like a Metro Mini, and it's powered here, and then it just quickly detects if it's in water. Oftentimes people put it into the tub like sideways, and so then when the level hits a certain level, or you can put it from below. But it's nice. It's like waterproof here. It's a good solid sensor. So you're going to pay a little bit more than a little low cost like PCB sensor, but trade-off is you get a really nice thing that works quite well. And if the whole thing is submerged, it's fine.
It could text you and say your
bilge tank is bilge.
You have a leak.
So nice, and it works even just like touching it like a little bit. It's very sensitive, so it's okay even if it's not completely immersed. So I like this water sensor. It works quite well.
Okay.
Let's check that out. Easy to use too. Which
okay.
I like. Okay.
What's this?
This is RageBridge, which is
that was the name of my first band. RageBridge.
That is totally. This is from Equal Zero Design, and this is from. Oh my goodness, I totally forgot his name. Well, Charles Guan.
That's right.
This is Charles Guan's design.
Yeah.
And he makes DIY like carts, like like little go-kart type things and like DIY scooters.
His blog is one of the best blogs on the internet. He's always making the best,
just puts
fastest,
motors on
craziest
things.
electric vehicles.
He's like, hey,
He's
that
like, I got
skateboard,
this motor.
put a motor on
Motor.
it. Like
He has a motor. He has a motor that he put a motor on it.
There's motors on motors. So he made this really nice, dual output, mega crazy.
What would you use this for?
This is a motor driver. And you can see there's 2 H bridges, so you can drive 2 motors with it. I guess you could drive a stepper, which is enormous, but probably not. Gigantic caps, heat sinking, so you can drive 2 motors with this. And it's got an Atmega on here as well that does all the control for you. And there's current limiting, so the little potentiometer says you can limit from 10 up to 90 amps. So this is not like a little oh, hey, I have a cute little robot. This is like you're building your go-kart and you need something to drive your go-kart motors. You have wheelchair motors you want to drive. You want to make electric scooters. This will do ya. It's really big. It's really intense. But there's nothing, there's nothing else like it for when you have to drive something that powerful. If you're doing robotics, like combat robots, this will also probably do the job for you. Check out the specs to make sure it'll drive the motor you want. But
What's
he's
the
been
gauge
doing
of the wire? They're like
12.
Super gauge. Okay.
12 gauge, and they're silicone, so they're nice and soft, and they're soldered in. And then there's this big heat sink plate, but you can also, of course, bolt this onto something else to heat sink it even more.
Someone said this is like what's inside BattleBots and stuff.
This is actually technically what is inside BattleBot. So when you make a BattleBot or you're making a combat robot, you'll probably need something like this, multiple of these.
Yeah.
So he just does a really good job, and he's such a good engineer that, I know that people are like, oh, I wanted to buy like a really cheap motor driver, but I think this is a good time if you're going to really build something.
If you're going to put human cargo on it, or if you're fighting to the death with robots,
other robots,
you should probably
invest in a good RageBridge. So RageBridge,
all right,
the most rage-matic
here we go.
RageBridge.
And I remember when we were talking about these.
Someone told you to start carrying these.
These are a bad idea.
These are a bad idea, but they're so cool. I just put a lot of warnings on the product page.
Yeah, don't do
So this is, it works. This is a MagSafe adapter. We have 2. We have the standard and the version 1. So the older one and the newer one. And it has, the one wire thing in it and the little LED. And then it just gives you a DC barrel jack. And what these are for, I'll tell you what these are for and what we're selling them for. These are used, I got them in a shop that sells, that repairs MacBooks, and they use this to determine, when they're repairing MacBooks or MacBook Airs, they use this to determine the current draw to kind of figure out if the machine's working and what could be wrong. Because you can use, put current limiting on it, with their power supply, you can also see if there's current spikes. So it kind of gives you a sense of how much current you're using. But I think this could be useful for people who want to make their own power supplies, or again, if you do want to repair.
You want to have your own mag thing.
Or you know what? Maybe you just don't want to buy like $100. Power supply from Apple, and you're like, look, I have something that can give me 60
Apple's
to
going
20
to stop.
volts.
They stopped making all this anyway. So if you want to keep a computer going, you're probably going to need to do this anyway.
Or maybe you're like, oh, I have a weird solar powered rig, and I have 12 volts, and I'm boosting it, and then I want to this is something. It's basically the connector. I will tell you that there's no protection circuitry on this, and I haven't blown up my laptop because I'm very careful.
Yeah.
Be very careful when you use these, because I don't know what happens if you put reverse polarity into a MacBook, and I'm not going to try. It'll probably break it.
Yeah, you should. This is like, what you're doing.
This is for experts only, but if you're an expert and you need this,
same thing with the motor driver thing. By the way, like, you need to know what you're doing. Some of this stuff.
You should know what you're doing. You should know what you're doing, but this is less dangerous because if you're spending $200, you're already invested. So this is like $7. So it's very easy to.
It's a cheap way to
destroy.
It's
a cheap mistake.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I sometimes we have to be punks. Sometimes we have to carry things, even though I know it's
our community
risky.
is smart. They know what they're doing. $7 is like a shot of tequila. Also can destroy
a life
things,
easily.
Also can destroy things just as fast as computers.
That said, this works. Another thing is, let's say you want to repair. You have a power. These power supplies are expensive. You just want to repair it.
I've seen people say my computer doesn't work, and it was just a power supply.
You might be able to
Their Mac
use
doesn't
this.
work. You can, and they just needed that.
Yeah, put in like
the ends frail, it break off.
It just breaks off. Yeah, so you would just get a DC plug, and then you could replace it, and now you have like a ruggedized.
Yeah, Apple kills
version.
off everything every year and makes us buy everything over and again. So this is
Maybe it's not so bad.
Okay.
Okay. So,
We'll
anyways,
have lightning connector
Mag
in
jacks,
there.
they work.
Okay.
I did test them.
All right. The star of the show tonight, besides you, Lady Ada, is the dog. No, just kidding. Is that
Why are
word?
you
No,
doing?
it's
No.
this. Sorry.
What are you doing?
Got a little click happy here. What's this?
This is CCS 811. We have a gas sensor. I really liked when I heard about this because this is an I2C friendly gas sensor. It's actually kind of like a standard gas sensor, which is like a hot plate sensor, but it has a microcontroller in it, so it can do I2C. It's a little bit more expensive, but it has I2C in it. You don't have to do any analog, and it does some calibration for you and all that good stuff. So it's good for volatile organic compounds. It doesn't tell you which volatile organic compound, but like, alcohols, it'll detect, or like anhydrides. I don't know how to pronounce these things, but there's a list. But basically, gases, peroxides probably will detect it. Alcohols will detect.
Chemicals.
Anything that's a volatile organic compound, it'll detect it. So this could be useful for environmental sensing, or you want to maybe detect how much gas is coming out of your laser cutter or whatnot. I have a little demo set up with one here. It also does carbon dioxide, so it's effective. It doesn't have a real carbon dioxide sensor, but it tells you the effective, like the approximated rate. So these are not ultra calibrated sensors. A really calibrated sensor is quite expensive. So the deal with this is that it'll give you a range. You'll be able to see sort of like the trends. To calibrate it, you'll need a source, and you'll have to measure against the source. But right now it's saying 88 parts per billion volatile organic compound, 1,000 parts per million effective carbon dioxide. I actually think it's from this fan. I think this fan is a little bit
Oh, look at that.
burnt down. But if you breathe on it, it'll make it spike up because I'm not drinking. It's just like your breath is full.
Good addition to the DIY tricorder project.
Tricorder project also, has carbon dioxide dioxide output. So if you were talking about measuring your carbon dioxide when you're doing biohacking and stuff.
That's fun.
So you can use it for that. Again, it's not going to give you the number looks precise, but remember you have to calibrate if you want.
It's not going to save your life.
It's not going to save your life, but it'll give you a range. You're going to have to spend a couple $100 if you want calibrated sensors. Yeah. But for something that works, quite well and is very basic and gives you trends and readings, it'll give you an idea whether it's going up or down and the range approximately of the volatile organic compound. I just want to make this expectation, because a lot of times people buy these gas sensors, they don't realize that they're not
CO2
calibrated.
sensors are good for aquaponics.
Aquaponics, or if you're doing gardening, they can be kind of useful. Biohacking.
Okay.
Environmental sensing. So these are really cool. They're a pretty good price. It comes with a 3-volt regulator, level shifting, and this is one of the first sensors where we are shipping it with CircuitPython library to start. So when you get it, you can run it with CircuitPython.
That's fun. Okay. With that, Lady Ada, the products are over.
Yay!
Good work. Okay.